Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Get Down to Business with Sam. My name is Samantha from Confidence and Style, and I'm so excited to be here for another video where I introduce you to empowering independent women who are really leaving their mark on the communities and industries they're involved in, whether that's fashion, health and wellness, business, and everything in between. I plan on diving into their career paths to learn a little bit more about their journeys, their road to self-confidence, and gain some expert tips and advice, all in the hopes of empowering those who are watching in the process. And today I have the pleasure of introducing you to a family of four incredible women, and that is Mother Corinne and daughters Hannah, Becca, and Leah, who are the creators and founders of Womaze. Their goal is to empower, guide, and support women through life and remind them of their infinite worth and potential. They are true inspiration, and I cannot wait to learn a little bit more about their individual and journey as a family, more about the Womaze app and what's to come, and get some expert tips and advice. So stay tuned. I have a feeling all of us will be feeling empowered after watching. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to introduce you to the incredible Womaze women. Thank you so much for being on Let's Get Down to Business with Sam.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Happy to be here.
I want you guys to each introduce yourself so everyone knows who you are. So why don't you go first?
I'm Hannah.
I'm Becca.
Corinne.
I'm Leah.
And I am so excited to have you guys on. I instantly knew I wanted to share your Womaze business and app because I truly believe that our goal is to inspire and empower women, and that is exactly what you guys are doing today. So tell me a little bit more about the Womaze app and what you are trying to build and accomplish.
Definitely. So we're three sisters, and this is our mom, and we believe we were put here on this earth to bring Womaze to life. It's a free app that's completely centered around self-empowerment for women. We say that it's like your toolbox for life because it helps you navigate life and the ups and downs of that. It shares tools for body image and mental health and self-care, relationships, whatever you may be going through. And it was born out of personal need. We needed it, and so we felt called to bring it into the world. And on Womaze, you can search based on how you're feeling. So if you're experiencing anxiety, you can search anxiety and find tools specifically for that feeling to help you with what you're going through. And if you also, when you download the app, you can get free daily empowering notifications that are just little reminders that you're loved and supported. They're from our hearts to yours, and you just press allow notifications. It's a little plug.
And how did the Womaze name come to be? I mean, out of everything, how did Womaze be the face of the company?
Yeah, so it's kind of the combination of women and amaze because our goal is to help women amaze themselves in the world. Amazing and amaze is a word that we would use constantly in our own lives, and just one day it just came to us and it really started, everything. So, yeah.
She came downstairs, she was like, guys, I know the name of the app. It's Womaze. And all of our minds were like blown. And you did that.
Thank you. It really was
You.
So it perfectly embodies what we're trying to do. So I'm grateful.
So I want to hear a little bit about the dynamics of the family, Corinne. You guys are working every single day. How do you guys do it all and balance both your personal and business life as your own bosses?
Sam, that's a great question. And being that I'm the mom of three daughters, and I was the mom before being a co-founder, it was definitely an interesting dynamic to try to learn and then balance. I certainly had to learn a lot of boundaries. I could not just, at 9 o'clock at night when the day was done, say, girls, I just remembered we didn't do this, we got to do this. And they'd be like, Mom, the day's over, we're done. I can be, they say I'm a lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of energy. So early on, for sure, we had issues regarding that. And I had to learn my place and the boundaries within the company. And I think I've been much better.
Absolutely.
I think I've been much better. There's definitely still learning and improvement, but it's really been an incredible journey that I would not trade for the world. I've learned more than I have ever learned ever in my life during a time that I thought there's not maybe a whole lot of learning to do. I just learned so much each and every day, not only from what we're doing, but from them. And I'm just really blessed. And when I have that in mind, when I know that we're a very purpose-driven company that was placed literally on our hearts, and that there's nothing stopping us, anything else just kind of falls into place.
That's amazing. And you are actually an author yourself. Tell me a little bit about that, and it kind of derived from your daughters and wanting to empower them.
That's beautiful, thank you. About 11 years ago, I wrote a book just for the three of them called Matters of the Heart, A Guide to Living and Loving Your Teen Years. And initially, truly, I just wrote it for the three of them. I had grown up in a blessed home in Puerto Rico, and I just wanted my three daughters to feel real comfortable going to me and talking to me about anything and everything. And I wrote that, and it really, truly became my passion. And I think in some ways, it became a seed that was planted 11 years ago so that they in turn could develop the tools that we all need in life to live our best, most authentic lives.
It's incredible. Now, I'm also very interested. Womaze is primarily focused around social media, and especially Instagram and the app. How do you feel social media has impacted society to this day? You know, when we think about social media, it definitely has created a negative aura around it, whether that's bullying, trolling, self-image, but it also has impacted society in a positive light, connecting one another, creating an outlet for creativity and infinite possibilities of, you know, career paths. So what are your thoughts on social media, and how has Womaze kind of been impacted by that?
A lot. I think growing up in the age of social media, we've constantly compared our behind the scenes with other people's highlight reels. And we live in a world where we feel like we can be anything but who we really are. And so I think when we were discussing Womaze, and before we even knew what it was or what it would be, we talked about what we all had in common. And what we all had in common, even though our mom was just starting a new job, and Becca and Leo were starting college, and I was starting high school, and we were in completely different periods of our lives, we realized we all wanted the same things. We all wanted to accept ourselves and know that we were doing okay, and that we had each other's backs. And I think that need for connection is what social media was created to be, but we've also forgotten to connect with ourselves and to tune back into who we are. So our intention and our goal and our mission with Womaze is to bring that to the world in a massive way, where you can connect back to who you are and come back home to yourself.
So inspirational. I mean, jumping off that, what do you think is some advice for building and maintaining relationships in today's day and age, whether that be on social media? Now dating apps are so big. I mean, everything is so digital and not face-to-face. So what's some advice for building and maintaining relationships?
I mean, internally, I think we always say that any relationship starts with yourself. That in order to have positive relations outside, you need to have that foundation of knowing yourself, and hopefully eventually loving yourself and accepting yourself fully. And I think when we have compassion for ourselves and our own journeys and where we've been, we have compassion for others, and we can approach our relationships in whatever form they may be, friendships, romantic relationships, work relationships. I mean, we're constantly in relationships all the time, but when we have that relationship with ourselves, when we can look at ourselves in the mirror and know the person that we're seeing on the other side, I think it reflects in our world in general and how we're viewing the world and our relationships.
Right. I think a big part of, you know, today's day and age, whether that be your romantic relationships or career path, is being confident and knowing your worth, and that's a huge part of what you guys want to do, is empowering and reminding women of their potential. So what have your journey's been like regarding your self-confidence throughout, you know, these years, and how has Womaze and starting this business really impacted that?
It's an amazing question. Who wants to?
I think it starts with knowing yourself. I think it's taking the time to realize you have a self and that your self is worthy of the same love and appreciation you give to others. I think if you ask yourself, Becca always used to tell me to ask myself very simple questions when we talk about like, who are you and how do I be confident in who I am when I don't really know who I am? She always used to tell me to get really clear on the things that we think are little but are actually really big, like what's my favorite color, or what movies do I like, or what do I really value, or what do I really appreciate about myself. And those are the little pieces that make up who you are. And once you start owning those, even the parts that are uncomfortable or the parts that take longer to accept, I think self-acceptance is a lifelong journey.
Yes.
And I think if you become confident in the fact that you are an ever-evolving human being and that it's okay to be where you are, and you're not an iPhone update that needs to be constantly improving, but just where you are right now is okay, then I think you give others permission to be confident in who they are, in the masterpiece. Like Sophia Bush says, you're allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the exact same time.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to add to that as
Yeah,
well.
of course.
I loved it. Because what you said, Hannah, is that confidence is something that you work on a regular basis. And most recently, I came across two different people who talked about confidence as a personality trait. And at first glance, you would think so, but it's not. Confidence is something, it's a day-to-day aspect of what you're doing in your own life. And it's tied into self-love and self-acceptance and self-awareness. So everything you said, I really loved. And for those of you listening, it's so important to understand that confidence is not a personality trait. It's not like you're born with it or you're not. It's something that you dedicate yourself to building each and every day based on the actions and the thoughts even that you're having.
yeah. And to that point of, being confident and individually within yourselves, I as a twin myself, Becca and Leah, know that, we are constantly being compared to one another throughout life and still to this day. So how has it been to, have that comparison be made every single day by someone you meet? And do you guys still deal with that today?
I mean,
Every
for
day.
sure,
Every
for
day.
sure.
Even going to places like the mall or just places where there's a lot of people will notice us and people will point out, you're taller, you're shorter, you're this, you're that. And I think something so powerful that it's taught us is that we need to create our own sense of individuality, but we're no different just because we're twins. Creating a sense of individuality is important for every single human. Just knowing that even though we're twins or that we're sisters and we're this and that, we each have our own souls. So no matter what label people would like to call you, you're your own unique person, and just again finding out who you are is the most important thing, which is why it's one of my biggest blessings to be a twin. Besides just having such a close relationship with you, I think it's kind of forced us to look at our own individuality and really get to know ourselves.
I love that, because I know as a twin, it's like the best bond you can have, but you always feel like you're being compared, but you're so unique and you have to offer so many different things, equally as amazing. But within the journey that you've had in the business, have you guys had to overcome triumphs and hurdles to get to where you are today?
For sure. I think the biggest hurdle that anyone can overcome is their own mind and the excuses and the limiting beliefs that we all have. I think we're always going to have excuses and feelings like, it's not the right time, or we're too young, or we're too old, or we're not smart enough, or we don't have a college degree yet. There's always going to be those thoughts, and I think if you can look straight at those things that are screaming at you, don't do something, don't act on that idea, and you choose to directly listen to that little voice in your heart that's saying, well, maybe, hey, it's like a little whisper that's nagging at you and waking you up in the middle of the night that's like, maybe I could sing, or maybe I could dance, or maybe I could start a show, or maybe I could build an app, who knows? If you listen to that, the best things are on the other side of that. So I think the hurdle that we've all experienced has definitely been within us, and then getting to move through it, it's never gonna quiet down, but the more you continuously show up for yourself, the more you show that you can do it nonetheless. And setting that example for yourself is also a permission slip for other people to be able to follow their dreams.
And what are some triumphs that you guys have excitingly, been a part of throughout the journey as well.
I think the biggest one is growing our community. I think we started Womaze because we wanted to invite people into our family, and we knew that the conversations that we were having and the topics that we were discovering, things like self-love and body acceptance and emotional well-being, that these aren't things that are unique to us. Every single human being in this world, whether they even realize it or not, has these emotions and has these desires to feel connected and loved and accepted. And when it comes to the triumphs, I think knowing that we now have thousands and thousands of people who are a part of our Womaze family, and they're getting our daily push motivations, and they're going on the app, and they're learning all of these things right alongside us, I think that by far, I can go to bed every night, and I know you guys all feel the same way, knowing that if I didn't do anything else, that at least my greatest hope is that someone is going to bed a little bit more easily because of something that I contributed to today, because of a smile that I gave them, or because of this app. So that's by far my greatest
I would have to agree.
accomplishment as far as Womaze. And yeah, there's been cool things, cool people that we've gotten to meet, heroes that we've gotten to meet, but we all say that Womaze is a soul-driven ship. It's not. It's very easy when you start something and when you start a business to say, oh, people would think it's really cool if I did that, or if I was on that show, or if I got this many followers. Yes, that's great. That's fine, but it lasts like this long, and we learn that very, very quickly. The thing that really lasts, and the thing that if you're going to start a business in general, if you're going to start anything, make sure that it's coming from here, because it takes everything you've got. It takes sacrifice. It takes going past every ounce of fear you have. It takes getting past the mental resistance. And I'm like totally, I lost my
I was like, yes, keep going.
That's okay. That's what happens when you're so passionate.
Yeah, and we are.
Now, speaking about the sacrifices that you had mentioned, I know from learning about your story that you guys all have had to make a lot of sacrifices and taken so many risks. Can you touch on that and what it's like? Has it impacted, the family and individually?
Yeah. Beck and Leah left college. They were studying in Washington, D.C., and they left college because something in their hearts both said to them, you need to go full force. You need to give your hearts and your souls and your spirits and everything that you've got. And like I said before, when something is knocking at your door and when something is waking you up in the middle of the night because you need to follow it, it's a big sign that you need to. And our mom invested her life savings into this. And I think when it comes to sacrifice, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice when you know with all your heart it's the right decision. And a life, there's a Wayne Gretzky quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That is like our motto in every situation. We give it our all because we want to look back at this chapter in our lives and know that we put our entire beings into it and that we gave it our best chance. It's our soul-driven ship. It's what we feel we were put here to do. And so anything that is required, we know that we will do it. And hopefully it will reach as many people as we possibly can and help as many people as we possibly can.
I think that's going to be my new quote because I love that. Awesome. And what is your definition of success, would you say?
Yeah, it's definitely changed over the years. It used to be more of just kind of what it looked like on the outside. But now I think all of us have really completely changed it to be, how do we feel? Do we feel fulfilled? Are we experiencing joy? I think it's not necessarily something that's on paper, and I think something that people need to define for themselves, because you may read about what success looked like for A, B, and C, but I think it's a feeling. So really just defining it for yourself and asking yourself, am I enjoying what I'm doing? And if you are, then to me that's really what success is.
So through all of this, we always have to take a moment for ourselves, especially when you guys are working, you're your own bosses, never a break. What are some things that you guys love to do that bring you inner joy, inner peace? Take a moment for yourselves. uniquely be your activity? Is there something that you guys do? Working out, fitness, cooking?
I think it might sound really, really, really simple, but I think breathing.
Okay.
Very important. I think that's the number one self-care tool that if anyone asked me, that would be the number one thing, because how often do we, at least this is something I tell myself, like, have I taken a deep breath in the past hour? And a lot of the times it's no. And I remind myself, okay, stop what you're doing, take a deep breath, connect to your body, because it's very easy to just be so tuned in here and be go, 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 and not. So having the opportunity to take a deep breath is not something that requires a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of luxury. It's something anyone can do. I remember there was an acupuncturist, Dr. Schiff, who came to speak at one of we do these panel events with Bloomingdale's, and she said something, and I won't be able to say it in the same way, but when she was asked I'm not going to be able to do it justice, but along the lines of that breathing is what she recommends to her clients the most, like before any herb or breathing, because it literally sends a message to your nervous system, all is well, you can relax. So that's the first thing, breathing. To get a little bit more sophisticated, I guess, I think taking time in the morning before going on your phone, before even talking to anyone, honestly, before I do anything, I set an intention for the day. I do meditate, and I say that word kind of flexibly, if that's a word, because meditation for me doesn't mean just sitting by yourself in quiet. It could mean anything from journaling or listening to a song, and instead of doing 10 things at once, just listening to the song and doing nothing else. To me, it just means connecting to that soul part of me before connecting to everyone else. So those are two really big things, and then journaling, going on walks,
Playing with your puppy.
playing with your puppy for sure.
She's being really good over there.
She's been great.
So Corinne, what one piece of advice would you give your daughters out of anything? I know there's so much wisdom you could give them, but if there was one key advice you could give them for life, what would you give them?
You know, I'm sitting here listening to all your wonderful, insightful questions and their answers, and honestly, the advice that I would give, they have already implemented in each of their lives, which is really to follow their calling, to listen to that inner voice, to know that it's real, that it's speaking to them. And so at this point, I would just say, continue listening. You're doing great. And you are truly my teachers. I learn from each of you each and every day. So thank you for being here and for doing this together. Just feeling very grateful.
It's so beautiful that you guys have created this together, and you have this to, forever. This is your true family, company. So I also know that you guys, a big part of Womaze is having weekly curators and different women who are also empowering and strong and independent on the Instagram page and the app. So is there someone that you have not worked with that you would love to work with in the future?
We love Sarah Blakely, who's the founder of Spanx. I think Sarah Blakely is an example for us of what's possible. She really has built Spanx from the ground up, and she's done it with so much grace and so much dedication and hustle and alignment, and I think she would hopefully really love what we're doing. She would always talk about how she would listen to tapes and to books and all of these things on her way to the office every morning and just get her heart where it needed to be in order for her to serve and show up in the way that she needed to. So I think she would really love what we're doing. And Sarah, if you're watching this,
Sarah,
I love you. And we also love Ellen. Ellen has been a hero of ours. I think she is the walking embodiment of what it looks like to stand in your truth boldly and fiercely and lead with compassion and kindness. And I think she is someone that will inspire us for the end of time.
Sarah and Ellen, you need to hit them up. So just last piece of advice for anyone who's really looking to start their own business and follow their passions and just go for it, being confident, being empowered. What advice do you have for them? I mean, you guys have done such an incredible job really pursuing this and making it, reality. So what advice would you give someone?
The first thing that came to me is just take the first step, because if you're anything like us, there's those perfectionist tendencies to want to have it all planned out, want to have your website perfect, forget even the website, want to have the name perfect, have everything lined out, but just take the first step and call that person to ask for some advice, perhaps buy a domain name, just start by doing a little research. Just take the first step and trust that after that first step, it will all be lined out for you, and that you don't need to know everything right now, and that things will evolve. That a business it's kind of an entity outside of you that we're just vessels for. That's really what I feel. So just take the first step. I think also listen to your gut before anyone else's, because I can tell you firsthand that we kept Womaze a secret for 6 months at least.
Oh, wow.
I mean, at least 6 months, if not more, because we knew that the second that we started telling people, there would be opinions and opinions and opinions. And not that that's a bad thing, but it can often cloud your own internal guidance system. And I think that can be dangerous, because you could have a very loud voice telling you, you need to do this, you need to do this, but then you could have this one saying, are you sure you want to do this now? For Leah and me leaving college, I think we just decided to go immediately and didn't tell anyone other than our parents, because we knew that everyone would have an opinion.
Right.
So those would definitely be the first two things that I would say. Do you have anything else?
The one last thing that I would add is something that I think we practice on a daily basis, which is progress over perfection. So many times we're working on something, it could be as big as, starting a brand new project, or it could be as little as just posting something on Instagram. And I think progress over perfection every day, all day, is our mantra, because it can really keep you stuck, that perfectionism. So just releasing all of that and knowing that if you've completed something, even if you do your best, your absolute best, but sometimes that fear of not wanting to put something out that's not absolutely perfect will stop you from putting anything out into the world. So I think that's something that is really important for anyone thinking about starting a business.
I have one more thing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate the power of just reaching out. Even if you don't know whoever you want to get in contact with, LinkedIn, Instagram. We have so many vehicles and platforms out there to help you meet whoever you need to meet. Write a compelling message just from your heart, and you'd be amazed who responds. So don't be afraid to reach out to people, and don't be afraid to build relationships and connections and take someone out for coffee, send them a handwritten note. I think doing things differently than the norm and thinking out of the box has definitely been how we've gotten in the short period of time to where we are now. So just definitely invest in relationships.
Thank you so much for being here on Let's Get Down to Business with Sam. It was so amazing learning more about your individual and family journey, getting some expert tips and advice on how to be confident and empowered, and overall just learn about Womaze. You guys are truly an inspiration, and I am so honored to have met you guys today.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're so happy to have been here, to get to talk to you. You're incredible.
Thank
You're
you.
amazing. Really and truly, and we love being in your presence.
Thank
And
you.
so thank you for having us.
And I want everybody to learn where they can get connected with you guys, to download the app and become a part of the Womaze community. So why don't you let them know all the social media?
Definitely. You can follow us on Instagram at Womaze app. So it's WOMAZE APP. And you can download the app for free on Google Play or on the App Store. And you can press allow notifications to get those daily reminders of love and support. And wishing you a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you so much for watching, and remember, being confident and fit is always in style. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Get Down to Business with Sam. Stay connected and follow at Confidence in Style on Instagram, and follow Womaze at Womaze App and Womaze.com. I'll see you guys on the next one.